Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 12th of November 2021, and as always we start by looking at any new coins or interest rate changes, and we've actually got a few to talk through this week. Firstly, I've updated some of the Crypto.com rates which were out of date. In addition to that, Celsius Network have upped their rates for stablecoins. So apart from DAI, their rates for stablecoins up to 10.02% internationally and for US users, and 12.68% for those of you who are choosing to be paid in Celsius token. In a similar manner but a slightly larger raise, Yield App and now up to 12% for Tether and USDC, and this follows on a lot of the rises over the last few weeks. So we've got Ledden 9.5% for USDC, and BlockFi went up to 9.5% for Tether rather, and then 9% for the rest of the kind of stable coins. So everybody really across the board has been increasing their stablecoin kind of rates over the last few weeks. So nice to see some decent increases there. In addition to that, I've updated the SwissBorg rates. They're still pretty poor, unfortunately. We did see a slight increase for the premium users up to 10.75, but that equates for most users only to 5.38% on stablecoins, 4.4 for Euro Tether there, and some very small fluctuations apart from that. I've also updated in Yield App. They have tweaked the rates. We'll talk about these in a few minutes time, but they've tweaked the rates, the additional yield token that you can earn for the different tiers. So we'll talk about those in a little bit more detail in a minute. Moving on to the token prices. So first of all, Bitcoin currently sat at $64,278. It's been a crazy week actually. I've been away since Monday, so I was away Monday till Thursday, so I missed a lot of this really big volatility, but we had a nice spike up, then another spike up. Bitcoin has hit all-time highs of 68 and then 69,000. Just I think wicked up to 69,000 before coming back down, but then trading down quite a bit yesterday, and another little leg down, smaller leg down this morning. So we've been trading about 65.5 for a lot of yesterday, dropped down to about 64,000. It's been trading between late 63 and early 64s for the last hour or so, but still up 4.3% over the last 7 days. Crypto.com, the standout performer, it had a really good week last week. It's been up higher than this, up to almost 40 cents. Currently sat at 34 cents, but still up 20% over the last 7 days. So it's gained up, it's given up some of its midweek gains, but still performing really strongly. Celsius Network and is down a little bit compared to Bitcoin, a couple of percent under Bitcoin. Yield App, the only coin in the red here, down 4.5%, which is approximately 9% worse than Bitcoin. Nexo and SwissBorg up a couple of percent more than Bitcoin, so up 6.5, 6.7 respectively, but really CRO the standout performer. Now I did speculate maybe last week, after seeing Nexo and CRO having really good runs up over the last few weeks respectively, whether we would see that move over to any of the other tokens like Celsius Network. Now that doesn't seem to have been the case. As you can see, Celsius Network being outperformed by Bitcoin. It's had a reasonable last kind of couple of days, but still not doing anything and been pretty poor performer over the last few months. We've seen the same thing with SwissBorg and Yield App not performing particularly well over the last few months. And then moving on to some stories. Firstly, something we just covered, so Yield App APY. So the stablecoin APY is now up to 12%. So this is a base rate of 12%. So this is now, I think, probably the most competitive, or one of the most competitive in the industry. I think HODL a little bit more than that. Is it 12.75 HODL? But it's right up there and a little bit higher than some of its competing platforms like Celsius, Ledden, and BlockFi now. But there is this yield bonus adjustment. So I just wanted to run through this. In the past, different coins had different amounts of bonuses, but they've been standardized now basically. So when you deposit into a Yield App, there is basically a base rate that you earn for each of the cryptos. So 12% currently on USDC and Tether, 6% on Ethereum, 6% on Bitcoin, and then according to how many yield tokens you owned and held in your account, you got these kind of bonuses. So the base rate stayed the same, but you got bonus rates of yield token on top of that. Now, even if you held no yield tokens at all, you would start to appreciate these, because you used to get 2% yield, and then you would get 2% interest on the yield apps on the yield tokens that you are actually kind of earning, and this went all the way up to 10% before on the asset. Now that's only going to go up to 6% now, so 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6% bonus. Now you don't have to do anything for this, you just get those automatically according to which tier you're in, and then those tokens also earn interest, so they earn between 2 and 10% interest, again according to which tier you're in. So you don't have to buy any kind of tokens to benefit from this. You get your interest as usual, and this is just like a kind of bonus that you get on top of that. If you were looking for the top bonus, you do have to hold 20,000, I think it is, yield tokens or more within your wallet. So just wanted to kind of clarify that the rates were changing for those kind of bonuses on some of the coins. And then moving on to a few other stories. Firstly, we got this Celsius X, which I read about at the beginning of this week. So this is going to be a DeFi arm of Celsius Network. CelsiusX.network is the URL, and there is a YouTube video here as well. Both of these linked as always in the description below, as well as links to all the other stories. But basically it's going to be a DeFi arm of Celsius, so they're I believe utilizing sort of some kind of like liquidity bridges between Celsius's platform and maybe some of the layer 2 solutions for DeFi. So this is quite interesting, and they're basically kind of looking to bridge a sort of like a seamless kind of like sort of infrastructure between CeFi and DeFi. So CeFi being centralized finance, basically crypto interest accounts, and DeFi decentralized finances, dexes and things like that. So be interesting to see what kind of comes out of this. We shall no doubt be talking about this a lot more in the upcoming months, but yeah, I've got some bits here teased already. So a wrapped token platform, cross-chain liquidity bridge, as this is moving money back and forth between CeFi and DeFi, an actively managed stablecoin, and then this proof of community, which I've talked about a lot with the basically the interest rates that people have been earning, providing transparency and real-time auditability. So this is similar to I suppose what Nexo are doing with their real-time proof of reserves. Be interesting to see really what comes down to this proof of community. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed when it first came out, because there was no accountability really at all. It was just here's how much interest you've earned, and here is where you sort of exist within the Celsius hierarchy. There was no kind of proof of anything like that. So be interesting to see how this develops over time. Just been sort of like announced and kind of launched, but no doubt we'll be talking about this a little bit more over the coming months as we start to see some of these features being implemented within the Celsius ecosystem. But really nice to see them doing something like this. And then another Celsius story, they've just basically announced the appointment of a consumer and financial technology executive, Tushar Nadkarni, apologies for the pronunciation, who's going to be the Chief Growth and Product Officer. You can read all about it here, about his background and what he'll be doing at Celsius. But nice to see them hiring people, as you know, the market is pretty decent at the moment. You know, Celsius kind of growing like a lot of these kind of platforms, you know, growing quite rapidly. We're seeing the same thing with Crypto.com, lots of partnerships, lots of new growth. So interesting to see as a growth and product officer, somebody specifically focusing on this side of the business. And then moving on to Crypto.com, they've launched something called Missions this week. Now, I think it's a little bit gimmicky in a way, but basically it's, as they say here, a fun and easy way to earn rewards. Basically, you can log into the app. I'll just scroll through this. You can log into the app, and basically you can take on daily missions. So often it's things like, you know, just opening the feature up each day to get a diamond, and you can earn these kind of diamonds, and then you can exchange, once you've got a certain amount, these diamonds for mystery boxes. Now this sort of like, it really feels a little bit like kind of loot boxes in games and stuff like that, and I know they've been quite heavily criticised, the sort of like the gambling side of things. I mean, it's not necessarily the kind of case here, because I know a lot of the loot box stuff was aimed at children, which is maybe not the case here at all. But yeah, interesting to see them sort of like gamify some of these kind of things. Might make people kind of come back more frequently to the kind of app, you know, kind of interact with it in order to get these kind of diamonds, and then you can transfer them up, and then basically the mystery boxes have a certain amount of CRO in them, up to $1,100 of CRO. So it'd be interesting to see whether this kind of catches on, whether it becomes kind of popular. It feels a little bit kind of gimmicky to me, just trying to drive repeat kind of adoption and stuff like that. Whether it's just kind of a way of them being able to then in their stats say, well, we have X amount of users that are using the kind of app every day even though they're not necessarily using it to kind of buy and exchange kind of crypto, might just be coming in to log in to take advantage of this. But you can read all about it here. There is a video within this kind of page, as before, all these stories linked in the description below. And there's this share and tag contest where you can win $50 worth of CRO as well. All the information is in the article here. And then moving on to SwissBorg, we haven't really had a lot to talk about SwissBorg apart from the decline in the kind of rates over the last few months. But nice to see something kind of positive come out of SwissBorg. So they've done just signed a partnership with Occam. Now Occam is a DeFi kind of project. Basically, it's an incubator and launch pad for Cardano. So Cardano, obviously, smart contracts going live on Cardano about a month ago, was it? A month or a bit ago. And a lot of that kind of work now being done. And no doubt in the next kind of couple of months, I think towards the end of this year and beginning of next year, we'll start to see some of the first projects utilizing smart contracts on Cardano. So Occam, basically, it's one of the sort of like more kind of official ones. It's backed by Emergo, IOHK, and the Charles Hoskinson Fund, I should say, and it powers various kind of like technology for this Occam X. So there's Occam Razor and Occam X. So this is a DEX and an incubator, a launch pad or kind of incubator. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But the interesting thing here is that SwissBorg will be listing basically the OCC token. So it's a tiny little token, it's a micro cap token, but they'll be listing this on the app. Now, this initially will be available to deposit and exchange within the SwissBorg app, but the Genesis Premium users will then be able to utilize earning yield on OCC, as well as some of these new platforms which are going to be launching on the launch pad. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for people. I think a lot of people were pretty upset, particularly Genesis Premium users. They're tied up a huge number of SwissBorg tokens. The price has not been doing particularly well. The yield rates are pretty poor. This being enabled just for Genesis Premium users, be interesting to see if that then expands out to other users in the future. Maybe a way of trying to keep some of these initial kind of Genesis Premium users from selling and withdrawing their kind of tokens once they are able to. But nice to see them do something a little bit kind of different, and nice to see them reaching out and partnering with another DeFi kind of company. So be interesting to see what happens over the next few months as some of these kind of projects start launching a little bit more rapidly on the Cardano ecosystem. And then moving on to a couple of stories from Nexo. Firstly, they're doing a little bit of a cashback at the moment. So if you take out a crypto-backed loan, they call them, what do they call them? Instant credit lines, instant crypto credit lines or something like that. But they are basically just crypto-backed loans. You can borrow USDC or US dollars from Nexo. You back them with kind of cryptocurrency and you can earn 0.5% back. So just a little promotional offer that is available through till the end of November. So 18 days as I record this left of this offer. So if you were looking to take out a loan with them, you can get this 0.5% cash back for the next 2.5 weeks, something like that. And then finally, Nexo have acquired a stake in SEC registered US broker dealer Texture Capital. So this is nice to see. I think this is quite an interesting story. I don't know whether this is a way to maybe slightly circumnavigate even some of the SEC laws. We're seeing a lot of individual states going after these crypto interest kind of companies. So a lot of them be going after BlockFi, Celsius, Nexo has been wrapped up in this as well. But this is basically it's a regulated blockchain enabled marketplace that caters to accredited and institutional investors and enhances private capital liquidity. But I think basically because it holds a broker-dealer license, it will enable them to offer some of their earn products, the crypto interest products, maybe to a greater number of people across the US. So really interesting to see them acquire a stake in Texture Capital. Be interesting to see if this results in some positive movement on crypto interest and earn accounts being available in some states that they're not at the moment, such as New York, New Jersey, and various others. But yeah, watch this space. We'll bring you an update on this once maybe we get some positive news due to this kind of tie-up. But it'd be interesting to see if this does work, whether we then start to see acquisitions from kind of Celsius and BlockFi and various others in order for them to utilize the same kind of benefits. But yeah, interesting to see what happens here. That's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching as always. I hope you're all keeping well. Give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Hopefully see you on the next video, but until then, have a great day. Bye bye.